Hey everyone, welcome to Trendline Invest channel. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you a very simple technique as to how you can buy stocks. And especially if you are not a profitable trader, then this video might change the way you trade. So the technique is called a 1, 2, 3 trend change. Now it's a very simple technique and you can forget all other technical analysis tools and just follow only this strategy or only this technique and you can be a profitable trader, but you should follow it with a certain set of rules that I'm going to teach you. So do stay tuned till the end of this video to know this technique and how this works. So let's start off with first the rules. So the rules are, first you have to find a stock. If you want to buy, you have to find a stock which is in a downtrend and draw a trend line. So that's the first rule. The second rule is the price should cross the trend line and it should make a higher low. And then the third rule is now the price should cross the previous high point that we marked and the price should make an uptrend. Okay, so that these are three rules, but let's take this with an example so that it's much more clearer for you. So I have the Nifty chart in front of me here, and here first thing you have to do is identify the stock is in a downtrend. The stock is in a downtrend, and now you draw a trend line in such a way that you need to understand the highest point and the lowest point, and then draw a trend line in such a way that the price is not crossing above the trend line, right? So here, if I connect this point, and if you draw a trend line like this, then the price is above this. So that is not a valid trend line. So you have to connect this point and just drag it here like this. That's the first rule. And now the price should be closing above the trend line. Okay. So that when it closes above the trend line, that's when your first rule is satisfied. So that's the number one in the 1, 2, 3 trend change technique. Now the second rule. The second rule is that the price now should drop and should make a low, but that low should not be lower than this low. Now the price can drop all the way until here, but it should not go below the previous low, which is the lowest low. So that's the second rule. So once you have this low in place, which is now a higher low compared to the previous low point, then the third rule or the third number is the price should cross the previous point, which was marked here, and now or the point number one, right? So once the price crosses here, that's when the third rule also is satisfied, and then you buy the stock at this point, right? So again, I'll repeat. The first rule is draw a trend line in such a way that the price is not above the trend line, but once you have a close above the trend line over here, you mark that as number one, right? So that's your 1 in 1, 2, 3 trend change. So point number two is the price should make or go down further, but the low should not be lower than the previous low point. So that's 2 in the 1, 2, 3 trend change technique. Number three is the price should cross above the point marked here, and that's the third point where you finally have a confirmation that this stock is changing the trend in the 1, 2, 3 trend change technique. So that's when you buy, and then you have a clean uptrend by which you can make money. Now again, this is not a foolproof methodology or strategy. It does have its own problems. There will be losses, so do not take this for granted and think that this makes money always. But I'm going to give you a few more examples as to how this works. Now, as I said, the entry point is always going to be above at 0.3, and the stop loss is going to be the previous low, which is 0.2. Okay, now let's take a few more examples. Now this is another chart of Nifty where I draw this. I'm drawing this trend line over here. Now here, once you draw this trend line, the first point is when price closes above the trend line, right? Once you have this, then the price goes up, or the price can directly go down as well. But you need to have the price going lower. The price just cannot go straight. Now, if the price is just going straight, this technique is not applicable, right? So the price should drop. Now this low point is higher than the previous low point, and then price closes above that point, which is 3, and you go and buy Nifty here. But then price comes here and it goes below this point and your stop loss is hit, right? Now this is why I said this is not a foolproof strategy. But I'm going to show you a few more examples here. Now this is a nice, beautiful example, especially this given this was a Nirmala Sitharaman candle. I hope all of us remember this. But again, here you had a downtrend, a clear downtrend. The price closed above this point. That's point number one in the 1, 2, 3 trend change. Then the price dropped. Now we had this as point number two, but then the price did not cross here, right? So the price again went up and dropped again here. Still, the price did not close below the previous low point, so that can be considered a 2 still. And then the price closes above this 3, and that's when the 1, 2, 3 trend change is confirmed, and the price is now entering a long-term uptrend, and the price keeps going higher and higher. That's the second example. One more example here. This was the code crash. Again, it's a beautiful example again here. So again, this was a downtrend here. We had a close above this point, which is 1. The price went up. So our rule is still not triggered. So then the price drops down. It comes here. And now when the price crosses this point, we know that point 2 is not lower than this point, or point 2 is higher than the previous low, which means our rule has satisfied here. We had a 1, close above the trend line. We had a 2, the low point was above the previous low, and now we have a 3, which is closing above the point number 1, right? So which means now this is a trigger, entry point here, a stop loss here, and the stock now is higher. In this case, Nifty went higher and higher. Now, when this rule is not applicable, right, you should also know how you should not apply this. Now, in this case, we had a 1, right? Now, if you're trading the hourly time frame, yes, you can consider this as a 2. But for me, this was not really deep pullback. So I not really consider this and not buy here. Now, you can still go and buy here if you want, but that's a very short-term time frame. And there's a there's every chance that stock might still drop further as well. So I want a proper pullback, at least 3 to 5 candles before we kind of head higher, right? So this is not applicable for a 1, 2, 3 trend change. Now this is also another example where you have downtrend breakout, price closed above here, but then the price kept heading higher and higher, and we never went above that point over here, right? In fact, I'd have loved the price doesn't cross but goes down and then goes up, right? So that's the pattern I prefer. That's also, this is an uptrend, downtrend breakout, but we never had a proper pullback. It just went one way up, right? So again, not applicable here. Now, I want to take an example of a stock as well. In this case, I'm taking an example of KPIT to just show you what kind of trend lines you should rely on, right? So first thing, KPIT made a high somewhere in 2022 Jan, and then we had this downward move here, down move, and then we had a close above this point, which is 1. We had a drop to this point, which was higher than this point, which is 2, and the price closed above the point 1 here, which is 3, and we had an uptrend, but it didn't really sustain. So it took a stop loss here, and then it went down. Now, the point here is when you consider trend line which is downward, and when you want to really apply this 1, 2, 3 trend change, try to look for slightly less sloping or slightly trend lines with a slightly lesser angle. Now, this angle is very steep, right? So if you consider this a 0, now this is very steep. Now, this is slightly less steeper. So if you consider this here, and if you draw the same thing, the first time we had a close above was here, which is 1, and then price went down. It did not go below the previous low, and then the price closed below this point 1, and now we had a 1, 2, 3 trend change, and after that KPIT almost went all the way up, right? How simple is this technique? Now you can forget all the rules, all the strategies in the world, and just focus on this single technique, and you will be a profitable trader. Take my word. Do practice this, at least take 50 to 100 trades and see if this works or not, and keep improving, keep journaling, see which trend lines work, which trend lines don't work, which market conditions are better and which market conditions are not better, and you will definitely be a profitable trader. Take my word, start practicing today, and do let me know if it helped you. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you're new to my channel. If you're already with me, share this video with your friends and teach them a new technique today. So otherwise, I'm going to leave you here. Take care, stay safe, trade safe. Until I see you in another video. Bye-bye.